Why are you a woman? Why aren't you at home? Why do you want to take this public office that belongs to a man? Well, we're challenging that, and that's what we have to do.
As the 24th President of Liberia, Her Excellency Ellen Johnson Sirleaf became Africa's first elected female head of state, leading the country from civil war towards stability and economic recovery. And she was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for advancing peace and the rights of women. She also guided Liberia through the Ebola crisis and delivered the nation's first peaceful democratic transfer of power in more than 7 decades.
Our country was not poor, just poorly managed. Any woman, no matter what particular area you may find yourself in, has an opportunity to succeed. Not everybody is a superstar, but you can be your star in whatever you do. It takes you, your self-confidence, your drive, your effort to make it happen.
And one of my favorite Ellen Johnson Sirleaf quotes is, "If your dream does not scare you, it's not big enough." What is a dream that scared you?
Just know.
Watch the podcast on Spotify, follow us on social media, and visit leadersandiconsonline.com. Leaders and Icons with Patricia is a production of Diamond Plus Media. For more information, visit diamondplusmedia.com.
Before she became president, Sirleaf had already built an extraordinary record of leadership. She served as Liberia's Minister of Finance, held senior positions with global financial institutions, worked with the United Nations, and became a fearless voice for democracy during times of depression. She was imprisoned for speaking out against authoritarian rule and demanding democratic change. Exiled, yet never silenced, she proved long before taking office that true leadership begins long before the title. She's the author of the acclaimed memoir, This Child Will Be Great. My guest is not just a legend, but one of the most respected women in the world. She served as the chair of the Economic Committee of West African States, ECOWAS. She's the first woman democratically elected to the position of a president of a country in Africa. And she's a Nobel Prize winner. She's one of my favorite leaders and someone I've looked up to for so many years. It's such an honor to be here with Her Excellency Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
As the first woman elected as a president of a country in Africa and leading in a male-dominated sphere where most of your subordinates were men, how was it like?
Well, you know, my journey was a long one. I didn't catapult into the presidency. I had already worked in different environments. I'd worked at home in positions where I was promoted to a peak of being a finance minister. That gives you a lot of opportunity to get to meet men, if I may put it that way, who hold the same position in other countries. I had already held management positions in the international system. And so for me, becoming president wasn't strange. And I had already, if you may, earned the stripes as an activist and a progressive right in the country and pay the price for it. So I think it was comfortable position because I've considered myself when I started the presidency as a technocrat. I was going to try to be a good manager. But quickly, I knew I had to become a politician if I were going to be able to manage the expectations and manage all that was required in a country that had already been through decades of civil war. So I think it was for me an exciting period, sometimes even a learning period.
Now, you were in the U.S. and you decided to move back and serve your country. What are some of the things that compelled you and made you decide that it was time to go back and serve?
Because I've had a long stay in public service through many positions in government, I always knew that our endowment basically our natural resources, had provided the means whereby our potential to develop rapidly, to be able to provide the basic services to all of the people, was always there. And that over the years, our country was not poor, just poorly managed. And that if I could be a part, not myself alone, but with a group of people with the same values, that we could have a team that could make a difference and could begin to see our country move, even though we'd gone through such serious periods of devastation, that we could rebuild. And that's what we sought to do when I became president. And I think we tried. Had we not been defeated a little bit by Ebola, we might have achieved some of the goals we had set. But in those beginning years, I think we did a lot to transform our country, from one that was devastated to one that not only had hope, but could show how sound management can make a difference.
Yes. And that's what, I think sometimes we fail to recognize the devastation that you met. And it took great management and leadership indeed to pull Liberia out of where it was and to make it a country that became known worldwide because of your presidency. You put Liberia on the map pretty much.
No, I'm always pleased about that we restored our country's reputation and credibility. We gave our people hope. But more importantly, I see as my legacy is that I was able to see us have peace. Our country needed peace to be able to progress. And today we have about 16 consecutive years of peace. So it's become part of the psyche of the country that if you go to war, the destruction is too profound. So I hope to see that as my legacy that Liberia will today, no matter what the quality of management or leadership would be, that peace will be maintained because that's a basic objective, a basic requirement of anything you can do in a country.
Without peace, you can't do much. And you received a Nobel Peace Prize, which is really phenomenal. How was it like when it was announced that you were going to be receiving the Nobel Peace Prize?
I was, at that period, I did not expect it. Although I had had many years of bringing peace, fighting for women's rights, fighting for justice and whatnot, I didn't expect it. And when it came, I was really on the campaign trail, going for my second term. But obviously I had to be overjoyed about it. And I was given that with two other women who themselves, had soared very highly and promoted women's rights and peace and security. And so the three of us, I think, well deserved it. And I think all three of us have gone on to carry the same emblem to be able to continue to promote women to ensure that they're empowered to have a better life.
Leaders and icons. We'll be right back.
What if your brand could sit at the table with the world's most influential voices? Leaders and Icons is more than a TV show and podcast. It's a powerful platform that connects audiences to visionary leaders, global changemakers, and industry trailblazers. With distribution across television, digital, and social platforms, we offer brands meaningful visibility and authentic alignment with excellence. If your organization is ready to inspire, engage, and lead, partner with Leaders and Icons. Because where leaders gather, the world pays attention.
Watch the podcast on Spotify, follow us on social media, and visit leadersandiconsonline.com. Leaders and Icons with Patricia is a production of Diamond Plus Media.
This is Leaders and Icons with Patricia. Her Excellency Ellen Johnson Sirleaf remains one of the world's most sought-after voices on leadership, resilience, and global progress. From keynote stages across continents to serving as commencement speaker at Harvard University, her words continue to inspire presidents, students, change makers, and future leaders alike. We now take you to an Empowerment Squared event where she delivered a message of courage, purpose, and possibility. Here is Her Excellency Ellen Johnson Sirleaf.
My whole life, in a way, is one of challenging, taking position, standing up for the values and the principles that you believe. It's never an easy road to leadership, and mine was certainly a long journey. But you do find that when you take a position, when you value certain things, and when that comes from the genesis of who you are, what you are, you're able to take on any obstacle that you may face as you seek the implementation of your dreams and your objectives. I was pleased to be elected by the people of Liberia, and I owe it to the many women, some of whom whose shoulders I stood on. They are the ones who, in the times when I was in prison, or in times when I faced serious difficulties, that they were there. And so I dedicated the period of my administration to ensuring that we adopted those policies that favor women. And the important part of that was a fundamental step of girls' education.
You've been an inspiration to women around the world, especially women joining politics. What have you to say about the progress of women in politics and in leadership roles overall?
Women everywhere in the world have faced the usual stereotyping that a woman's place is in the home, take care of the children. But women over time have achieved the same level of education and knowledge, and today have the same qualities of what it is to be a man. But to break through is the difficulty because men dominate all of the positions, Men make decisions and they favored men because that's what they're accustomed to doing. But we've had breakthroughs. We look at the Scandinavian countries. Women, they are just like another person. It doesn't matter whether you're a woman or man to become the prime minister or any of the other, public service high-level positions. And we begin to see that happening in Africa too. If you look at the scorecard, more women now. We have quite a few that are vice presidents, prime ministers, ministers abound, and ministers in those positions that normally were close to women, like finance and defense and justice and commerce. Women are holding those positions in parliament. You have a few women that are speaker of parliament. It's not enough. And I hear prediction, it will take us still 130 years to get full equity and full parity. Well, I don't think it would take that long. The pace is not as fast as we'd like to see it, but the progress is real. And there's no turning back.
That's great. Now, a lot of women in leadership positions still face a lot of kickbacks from certain, spheres of our society. And I know that sometimes women are labeled when they're trying to exert authority, like we hear to say an iron lady or what advice do you have for women in leadership positions about how to navigate, especially in a patriarchal society like Africa, for instance? And what are some of the challenges that you face? Maybe you can share some and how you were able to overcome them.
People think you shouldn't be trying for leadership. They think you're not entitled to leadership because you're a woman. And, it can be intense in varying degrees depending upon the country, the region, and all of that. It's a difficult one. And this is one of the reasons why many women, equal to any man in any endeavor, will not run for public office because of the fear of being faced with unjustified comments, derogatory expressions, simply because it's, why are you a woman? Why aren't you at home? Why do you want to take this public office that belongs to a man? Well, we're challenging that. And more women are getting past their fears, and are willing to take it on. And that's what we have to do. That's what's happening, particularly with the younger ones. The younger women have no more fears about setting their goals, showing the same level of courage, commitment, character, and going for what they want. And so our job is, wherever we can, is by our example, try to encourage, to motivate them, for them to keep going. The world is changing, and women will get their rightful place.
I say amen to that. You talked about women not going into certain roles because of fear. And one of my favorite Ellen Johnson Sirleaf quotes is, if your dream does not scare you, it's not big enough. What is a dream that scared you? I'd like to know.
What I'm doing now, that I would be able to do it. And I still have a little bit of fears, I want to see myself build a large center where women can convene, where I can be able to identify all the great women of Africa who have made a difference in their societies, where we can exemplify them, where young women have a place where they can be mentored with other women who have advanced. You're going to have something where it can become a testimony to women. My own life example and the life example of others will be the driving forces of motivation. And so, yes, it scares me. It scares me because I don't have the money to do it. But I want it to scare me. That's what I'm trying to do, exactly that.
So is this the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf Presidential Center for Women and Development?
Exactly.
Oh, okay. So, hey, those watching, let's come together and make this happen. Let's make this happen.
We're working on it. These things take a lot of dedication and time, but dreams do come true when you work hard at it. So
You do. Are you an inspiration for that? And I'm sure this will happen as well. Now, when you look back, do you have any regrets or things you wish you did differently?
I may have some regrets on certain decisions that I've made from time to time. There's no perfection in management decisions and abilities. But to say that I have a serious regret that I should not have done what I did, that I should not be what I was. No. If I could live my life over, I'd do the same thing all over again. So no, there are small regrets. Yes, you can't go through your whole life cycle the way I've been through it and say you don't regret anything. Sometimes you regret that you took certain decisions. That's all. Small disease, small things along the way.
Leaders and icons. We'll be right back.
What matters most to you? Extra income, protection, investments, your children's education. These are too important to leave to chance. Israel Iyamu, a licensed financial professional with over 25 years of experience, is offering free, no-obligation financial checkups to help you take control of your future. No pressure, just clarity. Call Israel at 438-622-9344 today. Limited slots available.
This is Leaders and Icons with Patricia. The Ellen Johnson Sirleaf Presidential Center for Women and Development was founded to elevate the next generation of women leaders across Africa. The center is helping break barriers in politics, public service, and governance. It is a powerful extension of her lifelong mission, not only to lead history, but to create more women who will lead it next.
When people ask me, have you missed the presidency? My answer is no. I'm having more fun. But I'm doing more work. Because the presidency empowered me to be able to do the things I do today. When we face a situation of Ebola in West Africa, that was a calling, and that was a signal of more to come. And even though this was missed because it happened with a small place in China, it certainly penetrated the world, and all of you felt it today. What we need to do is to ensure that the national health systems of all countries are so equipped to be able to respond, to ensure that we'll not have another pandemic. Things have changed. The kind of global cooperation that we all knew, the one that drew people together 45 years ago, established the United Nations and the other affiliated institutions, are all facing challenges today because that cooperation has shifted as too many nations, the bigger nations, the richer nations, have concentrated more on self-development, which leads to exclusion and marginalization of people. That is a call to all the leaders of the world to be able to respond to this changing world, because it comes at a time when there's so many threats that we must face. The global community, the threats of a pandemic, as I said, which is still with us if we do not respond properly to adopting all the recommendations that have been made. New threats, such as climate change, which we all now feel the effect of, and finding the right responses to them, and which in a way leaves so many of the poorer nations behind, although they're not the ones responsible for what has happened, for being able to protect the environment. We also have a growing artificial intelligence and what that will mean in shaping the manner in which people respond. How do we live as ordinary human beings if we can have the ability of a machine to remake someone in the like of a human being, or to answer questions and respond to issues that are normally made by us? To have the ability through technology to be able to do those things, thereby weakening our own ability to grow in knowledge, to grow in abilities.
You achieved a lot of great things amidst raising children over the years. Now, what advice do you have for people like myself, raising a family and trying to make a difference in the world? How were you able to achieve work and life balance when you were trying to, pursue a career and raise a family at the same time?
I got married at 17 years old.
Wow, 17.
Right out of high school, you see? And I had 4 children before I went back to school. And I had reared my children up to a certain level. So once I had got to the place where the opportunity for academic education and experience came, you could see that I would be a driving force, that, I would do everything to succeed. And that's exactly what I did. My capabilities and my knowledge came as much from experience as it did from school. But I do not suggest any young woman to follow that path. I think they should plan their lives, take time before you get married, go to as much in school as you can, get the highest degree and the more capability. That's the normal way. For those who may not be as fortunate, just know that you too can make it.
I like that. That makes the story even more inspiring. That you had to go back to school after having kids and make all this difference in the world. I mean, this is amazing. Leaders and icons. We'll be right back.
Every leader has a story. Every icon leaves a legacy. At Leaders and Icons, we bring you closer to the voices shaping our world, visionaries, trailblazers, and changemakers across industries and continents. Through powerful storytelling, exclusive interviews, and insights that inspire action, we celebrate excellence in its highest form. Step into a world where purpose meets impact and ambition meets possibility. Visit leadersandiconsonline.com and discover the stories that move the world forward.
Watch the podcast on Spotify, follow us on social media, and visit leadersandiconsonline.com. Leaders and Icons with Patricia is a production of Diamond Plus Media.
This is Leaders and Icons with Patricia.
Few leaders have championed the rights of women in power as passionately as Her Excellency Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. From breaking barriers as Africa's first elected female head of state to mentoring the next generation, she has consistently called for greater female participation in politics, leadership, and decision-making. For Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, when women lead, nations rise.
My life has been a long journey, but an exciting one. One each case, you can face formidable odds, but you have that inner conviction of your own abilities to succeed, but also to motivate others to be with you and to be able to lift others. And so I dedicate the rest of my life to ensuring that women will have the opportunity to reach their goals, to see implementation of their dreams, and that we will do it by working with them. More advanced women counseling, mentoring, providing support. I have established a center for that purpose. We'd like to see a wave of women, so that no longer somebody will say, oh, we had a good job, but we just couldn't find a woman for that job. Because we want to see the wave of them ready. Ready as professionals, not asking for favors, not asking to be given something, but giving the right to compete and to win.
And finally, I just want you to look at the camera, and what would you say to a young woman out there who is just starting life and wondering what difference they could make in this world? What would you say to them?
Any woman, no matter what particular area you may find yourself in, has an opportunity to succeed, has an opportunity to be what they want to be. Not everybody is a superstar, but you can be your star in whatever you do, through excellence, through endeavor, through determination. I think it's a call from me to every woman, because I use my example, that you can be what you want to be. It takes you, your self-confidence, your drive, your effort to make it happen.
Well, thank you so much, Your Excellency. It's been such a great honor to, have this chat with you, and you continue to be an inspiration to us all. And thank you for the legacy you've left. You've given us all a big challenge, to rise up and be whatever we want to be and make a difference in this world. And I thank you for that.
Very well, thank you. Good to see you again. You said what, for 2007?
Yes, 2007 was the last time we met.
Okay. As a one, we came for the young people.
Yes.
The program with the young people.
Yes.
As we end today's program, Her Excellency Ellen Johnson Sirleaf reminds us that greatness is often born from perseverance. The road may be difficult and the setbacks may be real, but those who refuse to quit can change their lives and even the world, taking her inspiring message on never giving up on your dreams.
Stand by your dreams. When in 1979, I made a critical statement of the government in which I served, and was then taken out of the country by a Harvard University professor who provided the means for me to go to the Kennedy School. I did not know what Harvard University was all about at that time, except what you read. But I went and I learned and I studied. And after many years, when I returned to country and served at lower levels in the position, reaching, of course, to the place where I finally ran in from 2005 and won and became president in 2006, and did some of the things that I've been recognized for when I was asked to give the commencement address at Harvard University in 2011. The statement which Leo has repeated, that statement came from that address. When he said, the size of your dreams, always achieve your ability to achieve it. If your dreams don't scare you, they're not good enough. Last week, I went, and Harvard University and the center I have established, signed a memorandum of understanding to work together for what I do for the promotion of women, for showing that what I and other women have done, that we will demonstrate in the center I have, will forever be something that provides the life story of those who serve, and serve only because they believe in a betterment of people. They believe in peace. They believe in security. They believe in equity and justice. May that be your rising call as you seek your dreams.
Watch the podcast on Spotify, follow us on social media, and visit leadersandiconsonline.com. Leaders and Icons with Patricia is a production of Diamond Plus Media. For more information, visit diamondplusmedia.com.